A very good morning to everyone. So, welcome. Yeah, very good morning to everyone. Right, this is Anup, and welcome to second live session on principles of communication system. So, this is the online session for fifth semester B section. Right, and in today's session, we will start with our syllabus. Right, so we'll discuss the basics of modulation, or like what actually is modulation, what is the need for modulation, and we'll see some examples of advantages of modulation. Right. And then we'll see what are the constituents of a typical communication system. Right. And we'll end today's discussion there. Right. And before I start, I wish everyone a very happy Teachers' Day. So today is a Teachers' Day. So I wish everyone a very happy Teachers' Day. Right. So as I discussed, right, we'll start with discussing the need for modulation. I didn't tell you what is the definition of modulation, but I have posted two videos, or I was in two videos in Edpuzzle during last recorded session, and most of you have gone through that. So from that, you might have got an idea like how from the Stone Age the communication started and how it evolved and now it reached almost 5G. It's like 5G is actually what being implemented even in India, and in another 6 or 7 years we'll have 6G, right? So communication, like it's if you see communication, it's everywhere, right? So and one very important aspect of communication is modulation, right? So what is the need for modulation? That is my question. So can if you can type it in your chat window, right? If you can type it like what are the needs for modulation? Yeah, like all are telling happy Teachers Day, happy Teachers Day to you too, right? And now we'll come back to our session. Right. What is the need for modulation? I didn't tell what is modulation, but like for an information to travel large distance. Okay, yeah, somewhat. Yeah, it's and another. If anyone want to unmute yourself and tell, that is fine, or else you can type it in chat window. So Swaroop has told for an information to travel large distance. Only that, and anything else to protect from data loss. Okay, fine. Pratiksha has told to protect from data loss. That is also true, right? And any other response? So okay, like maybe in today's session we won't discuss the exhaustive list of actually what need for modulation, but what we'll do is we'll discuss some of the reasons why modulations are required. Modification of the signals, okay, fine. Information is not lost in modulation. Okay, so maybe yeah. So as I told, what I'll do is we'll try and discuss some of the issues which we can practically experience if modulation was not there, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, and along with that we'll discuss the need for modulation as such, right? So now all of you listen here. Let us assume there is a person, right, who want to talk or you want to convey some information to some other person who is standing at some distance, right? So this is a person who want to talk. Okay, maybe I'll use a laser pointer. So this is a person who want to talk, and this is the person who is supposed to listen, right? So if you want to talk, what he can do is if we talk a bit louder, even if a person is at a considerably large distance, he'll be able to hear, right? Agree? But if you assume there are three people, and the same person has to convey same information to everyone, even then he can use like his voice. Actually, if he speak louder, he can convey the same information to all the people, right? So far so good, not a problem. But if we have many people want to convey different informations to same or different sets of people, right? Maybe we'll have a demonstration, right? So, who is USN 68? Can you please unmute yourself and like say hi to me? USN 68. Yeah, okay.
Hello, sir.
Then who is USN 75? Please don't unmute. Who's USN 75?
Sahana.
Sahana is there. Yeah, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sahana is there. Then, okay, I'll call
Yes, sir.
Preetesh. Preetesh is there.
I did it, sir.
Huh?
Yes,
Preetesh,
sir.
okay, yeah.
Good morning.
Now I want all three of you to talk simultaneously. Anything about your interest. Maybe even I'll talk. Right, let's see what happens. Hmm?
Hi,
Yeah,
Sahana.
yeah, okay. Like maybe we'll introduce us. So myself, Anup, I'm working as assistant professor. Yeah, like why you people are not talking? Please start talking. Right.
Myself, Ishta.
Okay,
My name
I'm
is
yeah.
Preetesh and I'm having
Yeah,
breakfast.
okay, stop. Enough. Right. So I like you all know what will happen, right? We don't have to demonstrate. So that is one issue, right? That is a
yeah.
practical issue. So, for instance, we have. Do you know how many FM stations are there in Bangalore now? All of you can mute yourself, right? Yeah. Any idea how many FM stations are available in Bangalore? You can type it in chat box. You can. You need not actually what type the number. You can type whichever FM stations you know. FM. Yeah. Am I audible to everyone? First of all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you people are there. Okay, yeah. So Pritesh has typed Red FM. Then one more. 92.7, 93.5, 98.3, Akashawani Mangalore. Oh, wow, excellent. Who is that? Prajwal has typed that. Yeah. So we have many radio stations, right? And you can see there are different numbers as Prajwal has typed 92.7, 93.5, 98.3. And do you know what is the number associated with Akashawani Mangaluru? It's 100.3. Like maybe later in coming slides, I'll ask whether it like what is this frequency range, whether it is kilohertz or gigahertz or megahertz, right? So and apart from this, I think we do have what Air India. Sorry, not Air like All India Radio Bangalore transmission also is there. I think like maybe that is not available in FM. That is AM. So like they are using actually what different frequency bands, right? Because of that we don't have any actually what interference. If we want to listen to one particular station, what we have to do, we can tune into one station, right? So that there won't be any interference. So what happens when all are trying to transmit different information signals directly into channel, right? They will get mixed up and lost, right? We'll call it interference. So now I'm telling, if we use modulation, right? If we use modulation, we can avoid this, right? Loss of some have actually what messaged it can prevent loss of information. So it's true. If we what are transmitting different information, for instance, in this case, all are using voice signal. And can anyone tell me what is the range of frequency in human voice? Maybe what is the maximum frequency content in voice? Yeah, please do type it in chat window. Maximum frequency content in our voice. Approximate. I don't want exact. Right. No answer. Okay. Or what is the range of frequencies which we can hear? Audible frequency range. That you might have studied in smaller classes for sure. What is the range of frequencies that we can hear? No answer. So should I ask randomly to some person? Okay. Nishmita is there? Nishmita? Yeah, all of type 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Exactly. Right. So it's The range of frequencies which we can hear is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. It's not 20 millihertz to 20 megahertz, right? But in that, our voice frequency content in our voice will range from say maximum 4 to 5 kilohertz, right? So all these contents are actually what in that frequency range, and so when they are traveling through the same medium, so now the medium is air, they'll tend to mix up and we won't be able to differentiate, right? But whereas if we are using some modulation, we can use different frequency carriers, and maybe we can use different band pass filters at the receiving end, so that we can differentiate between different information. So modulation can avoid mixing up of signals or interference and make multiplexing possible. So what is multiplexing? Multiplexing is the process of transmitting different information through same channel, right? So we have different types of multiplexing. So maybe in like higher semesters, you'll study what are the different types of multiplexing, right? So we have frequency division multiplexing, right? Then we have time division multiplexing, we have space division multiplexing, and also we have orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, and we have code division multiplexing. Different multiplexing schemes are there. So in frequency division multiplexing, what we have is different information signals will be using different frequencies. And in time division multiplexing, what will happen is you can consider a frame, right? In time division multiplexing, you can consider a frame, and a frame will have different slots, different time slots, right? Say if you consider a frame of say 10 seconds, I'm just telling an exaggerated example. If you consider a frame of 10 seconds, maybe first 2.5 seconds, first person will talk. Next 2.5 second, another person will talk. Next 2.5 second, another person. Next 2.5 second, another person. And they'll take turn, right? So person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4. So there will be a frame, and that frame will have different time slots, and each time slot will be assigned to different user. That is time division multiplexing. And space division multiplexing is something which is used in cellular mobile phone. Maybe later we'll discuss. And OFDM and OFDMA, it is something which is used in our 3G, 4G, and 5G mobile system. And CDMA is code division multiplexing. That is something which is used in your Bluetooth and all, right? So we have different options. All these are possible because of coding. So that is one thing. All of you agree? Not coding. That is possible because of modulation. So modulation can avoid mixing up of signals and make multiplexing possible, and it in turn improves the quality of reception, right? So now we'll see a simple example of frequency division multiplexing system. So I have already asked, we have many radio stations in Mangaluru, right? So we have FM stations and AM stations. So, and you have told some of you have told the various FM stations. So All India Radio Live, which transmits at 100.3, that is an FM station. Big FM 92.7, Radio Mirchi 98.3, Red FM 93.5, right? And so these are FM stations, and we have All India Radio Bangalore, that is an AM station which transmits in actually what medium wave, MW. I'll tell what are these, right? Now my next question is, so I told some numbers, right? 100.3, 98, 92.7, 98.3. So these are nothing but what the frequency, the carrier frequency which they are using for frequency modulation, right? And if it is AAR Bangalore, it is, I think it is 1089, right? 1089 is the number associated with that. So my question is, for FM, these numbers are there: 100.3, 92.7, 98.3, 93.5. What are these? These frequency, whether they are in hertz, whether they are in kilohertz, or they are in megahertz. What is that? Can you please type it in chat window? It's in megahertz. All are telling. Oh. So Sherwin have told it is megahertz. Ritik also told megahertz. Any other answer? So I am asking about FM, only FM, right? FM. So okay, people are telling it is megahertz. Exactly, it is in megahertz range. So for FM radio, the frequency range allotted is, for FM radio, the range of frequency allotted is, can anyone tell me what are the range of frequency allotted for FM? It is 88 to 108 megahertz for FM. And for AM now actually what earlier we had many AM stations, right? You might have seen that transistor radio with big antenna and all, right? That was for AM, but in our mobile phone, we don't have an FM, AM demodulator or modem, right? So we can't access mobile AM in our mobile phone, right? So and in AM there is a number 1089. What is that number? Whether that is hertz or kilohertz or megahertz, what is that? In AM, yeah, it's again Sherwin has told it is kilohertz. Exactly, it is kilohertz. So FM uses different, like, so these are a typical example of actually what it's a typical example of frequency division multiplexing, which is our radio broadcasting, and it uses FM. And now my next question is AM or FM, which will give you more clarity? All of you are there, right? So yeah, if Sherwin is telling FM gives more clarity, so there is a reason, right? So this I can tell this AM uses actually what medium wave band. Medium wave is actually what frequency ranging up to say medium wave. Yeah, it's up to say 30 megahertz, up to 30 megahertz, 300 kilohertz to 30 megahertz. It is actually what medium wave. So Air Bangalore is AM is using medium wave, right? And the upper frequency range which AM can the upper frequency range which AM can modulate is actually about 5 kilohertz. Suppose in a music there is frequency ranging from 0 hertz to say 15 kilohertz or 10 kilohertz, right? When we are using AM to transmit, amplitude modulation radio to transmit, what happens is it will consider only till 5 kilohertz. Whichever information is there above 5 kilohertz will be stopped. It will be blocked. It won't be allowed. Whereas the FM actually what uses considers the information signal up to 15 kilohertz. Up to 15 kilohertz it will consider, right? So that's why we call FM as high fidelity. Maybe later on we'll have more discussion, right? So for the time being, like this is a typical example of frequency division multiplexing possible by means of modulation. So and you can see here, can you see an animation running on right top corner of the screen? I hope all of you have pinned the screen from which I am presenting to your window, right? All of you have done that, right? Done that, right? So can you see an animation running on top? So in that animation, you can see on top I have shown a message signal. I've shown it as a sinusoid, right? And the middle one, that is actually what AM. You can see the amplitude of the message is varying. Amplitude of the carrier is varying according to the message amplitude. And the second one is FM. You can see the frequency of the carrier is changing according to amplitude, right? So we in this course we have to study these things in detail, right? So we'll study that, right? And so, and one more thing is one more important aspect which we can seriously visualize is the height of antenna. Suppose we are going for wireless transmission, right? So transmission can be wired or wireless, right? So in later slide, I'll discuss about a typical communication system, right? But before that, I'm telling now a transmission can be wired or wireless. If you remember old landline telephone, it was completely wired, but now the mobile phone is actually what wireless. Even now, actually, what TV broadcasting is wireless. Initially, earlier it was like using completely cable laid over. Right now, it's actually what we have digital video broadcast. Also, we do have like this direct to home wireless connection, right? So It can be wired or wireless. So if you're using a wireless signal transmission, we should use antenna, and the antenna must have a size which is comparable to the signal wavelength. So now how we will find out signal wavelength? What do you mean by wavelength? How we will find out signal wavelength? So maybe I've been talking for a while. Maybe I'll stop talking and I'll ask you some questions. Yeah. So how we will find out? So suppose you know the frequency. How you will find out the wavelength? Frequency, wavelength, and velocity. Right. Before that, I'll give a clue. What is velocity of light? So all electromagnetic radiations travels with velocity of light if it is air or free space. Right. What is velocity of light? What is velocity of light? C, that is 3 into. Yeah, see, it's 3. It's Tejasri has typed C into 10 power, right? I hope it was 3 into 10 power, right? Yeah, 3 into 10 power, right? Meter per second. So light travels, or any electromagnetic wave travels at a velocity of 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second in 1 second. 3 into 10 power 8 meter, right? So if I say the frequency is 4 kilohertz, if I say frequency is 4 kilohertz, what will be its wavelength? So when I mean to say frequency is 4 kilohertz, I'll tell what happens, right? So maybe I'll give you an idea. Suppose I want to suppose I'm talking something in mic, right? And if I want to transmit it, what I should do is maybe I should like give the signal to some transmitter, right? So we'll see what actually is this transmitter, and that transmitter is connected to a transmitting antenna. That antenna will actually what transmit this. So what happens here is if I'm talking, maybe that will have actually what frequency component up to 4 kilohertz, right? So sound signal, right? So I'm talking, it is sound signal, right? So I'm using a transducer, that is mic. It will convert my sound to electrical signal, right? And that electrical signal, it may be amplified, and that is what is given to an antenna, right? So what antenna can do, antenna is also a transducer. This antenna can convert electrical signal into electromagnetic. So it is electrical, and antenna can convert it into electromagnetic signal, right? So if I want to produce an electromagnetic signal of 4 kilohertz, what I should do, I should give an electrical signal of 4 kilohertz to my antenna, right? So suppose I am transmitting my voice as such, that is if the frequency is 4 kilohertz, right? And this will also travel with a velocity 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second, right? This will also travel with a velocity of 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second, right? So what will be the wavelength, lambda? That is my question. So given C is equal to 3 into 10 power 8, right? F is equal to 4 kilohertz, right? So what is lambda? What is the relation between C, F, and lambda? Can anyone tell? Yeah. So who's USN 89? Who's USN 89? It's 1.2 into 10 power 12. Oh. So what is the relation between C, F, and lambda? C is equal to F lambda. Exactly. Srisha has told it correct. C is equal to F lambda. So lambda will be C by F. So if you compute the lambda in this case will be, so I have, no, you don't have to actually waste time and compute. So I have shown here. So what I mean to discuss is, for wireless signal transmission, the height of antenna must have actually size which is compatible to the signal wavelength. Suppose we are transmitting voice as such. All of you can see this table, right? I hope all of you can see this table, right? Suppose we are transmitting voice as such. The approximate maximum frequency content in voice is 4 kilohertz, right? And the wavelength will be actually 3 into 10 power 8 by 4 kilohertz. Can anyone verify this? Whatever I mentioned is correct. What is 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 4 kilohertz? 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 4 into 1000. 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 4000. I have written it as 75 kilometer. Can anyone verify whether it is true? Wavelength C by F. It's 75 kilometer only, right? Yeah. 75 kilometer or yes, right. Okay, yeah. So fine. So if I'm transmitting voice, I'm converting voice into electrical signal, then using an antenna, if I'm transmitting as an electromagnetic signal, right, the wavelength of that electromagnetic signal will be 75 kilometer. So which means if you consider an electromagnetic wave, right, which is in free space, right? So a wave looks like this, right? So the distance between a crest and crest or trough and trough, it will be equal to 75 kilometer, right? So if I have to receive a signal or EM wave with wavelength equal to 75 kilometer, I must use an antenna which has an height of actually what 1/10 of that. In some textbooks, we are telling 1/4, right? So I'll take it as 1/10, right? So what is 1/10 of 75 kilometer? It is 7.5 kilometer, right? Imagine 7.5 kilometer high antenna, right? How huge it is, right? So maybe because of that, the FM or AM radio are not transmitting voice signal as such, right? They are translating the frequency into what thousands or kilohertz or megahertz, right? So now, if it is AM radio, maybe I have taken a frequency 1000 kilohertz approximate, right? If it is 1000 kilohertz, the wavelength will be 300 meter, and the antenna height will be 30 meters. So you can see on right top corner, I have shown a typical AM radio station, right? You can see how long is that antenna, right? You might have seen. Have you seen an AM radio station anywhere? Do we have an AM radio station nearby Mangalore? Do we have? Yes, that's, you might have seen that, right? So it's almost actually what it's whatever like dimensions or the order we are mentioning, it's almost comparable. It's almost around 3. It's not accurate or exact height I'm telling. It's for you to have an idea, right? What should be the height, right? So then in FM radio, we are using 100 megahertz. And if we calculate, the wavelength will be 3 meter, right? And 1/10 of that will be 30 centimeters. So you can see in FM radio, if you have to receive FM radio, you have to connect a like headset, right? Now even some mobile phones have actually what without antenna also it works. So approximate height of headset is actually what 30 centimeter. So that acts as an antenna, right? So FM radio, the antenna height required is 30 centimeter. Why? Because it uses frequency around 100 megahertz. And in our 2G mobile communication, GSM, it uses actually what frequency range around 900 to 1100 megahertz, right? So if it is 1000 megahertz, the wavelength will be 30 centimeter and antenna height should be 3 centimeter. So 3 centimeter means we can fit the antenna within our mobile phone, right? And your Wi-Fi, which uses actually what 2.4 gigahertz. So this 2.4 gigahertz band is called actually what? Have you heard of this 2.4 gigahertz band? It's called ISM band. It is a free band which everyone can use. Whereas other bands actually what we can't use it commercially, right? All other bands we can't use commercially, right? So, but this the frequency which is used for GSM, that is 2.4 gigahertz, that is a free unlicensed spectrum, right? Everyone can use, and the wavelength in that range will be 12.5 centimeter, and the antenna height will be actually 1.25 centimeter or around 1 centimeter. So as wavelength, as frequency increases, wavelength decreases and antenna height reduces. So one more advantage is actually what modulation translates the frequency from baseband to band pass. So what do you mean by baseband? So I want you to be clear with these terminologies. Baseband means a signal which has frequency component from 0 to a maximum frequency, right? So baseband signal, if I refer to baseband signal, what does that mean? Baseband signal will have a spectrum which will have its spectrum will be like this. It will have 0 to a maximum frequency content, right? So I believe you have studied signals and system and you are familiar with spectrum, right? So a baseband signal will have a spectrum which is ranging from DC to a maximum frequency content. That is actually what baseband. And when I say band pass, right, it will be a band pass spectrum, right? It won't have any DC component. Its spectrum will be centered around some higher frequency, right? So that is band pass. So that's what I mentioned here. It translates frequency from baseband to band pass. No problem if you are getting confused with these words. Gradually, actually, what you will get used to it. Now, I just wanted you to know this is what happens, right? So modulation translates frequency from baseband to band pass and helps to reduce antenna size. And one more thing, right? The wireless channel that is free space or air, it is inherently band pass. It actually it will not allow DC. Like more details of this you will study in your electromagnetics. Mahesh sir will teach you this, right? So what happens is, if an electromagnetic wave should propagate, I think you might have studied this in first year physics, right? Maxwell's equations you have studied, right? Can anyone unmute and tell me what is Maxwell's equation? All of you are there? Okay, like I'm not asking what is Maxwell's equation, right? So Maxwell's equation says, right, so a time varying a current or time varying electric field will create a time varying magnetic field, and a time varying magnetic field will in turn produce a time varying electric field, right? So you have studied that. So that is the essence of Maxwell's equation. It says, right, only a sinusoidal excitations, right, are ideal to be transmitted over free space or as electromagnetic wave, right? So, or in other words, if you differentiate a function twice with respect to time, you should get back same, right? So that is actually what wave equation, right? So okay, fine. So it says if it is DC, if you provide DC to an antenna, it will not radiate. It will not create actually what a time varying magnetic field. So if there is no, if you provide a DC to an antenna, it will provide actually, it will create a steady magnetic field, right? So if it is a steady magnetic field, it will not be able to produce actually what a electric field, right? So that's why DC is not supported. That's what I have mentioned here. Moreover, wireless channel is inherently band pass. You don't have to bother about this now. You study these things in detail in electromagnetics, right? So now I told, so we can't actually, this voice, the frequency content is from 0 to 4 kilohertz. It has significant DC component. You can't actually transmit it wirelessly directly. You can't give it to an antenna and transmit it wirelessly. You can, but what happens is that the frequency, very low frequency components will get attenuated. So these are some practical difficulties if modulation is not there, right? So and there are other important aspects as well, like security, right? And if frequency is more, we can actually have more power and in turn more range, right? Those things are also there, but I just wanted you to know these practical difficulties and why we need to go for modulation, right? So next, uh, what I'll do is I'll just stop here for a while, and I'll just see if you have any doubts or questions or queries at this moment. Please feel free to ask. Yeah, any doubt? Yeah, Abhilash KA, I want you to unmute yourself and let me know if you have any doubt or Yeah, Abhilash or who? Someone has unmuted. Abhilash, yeah. Tell me, Abhilash. Any doubt? Hello. Or else you can type it in chat window, chat box. If any doubt is there, you can type it in chat box, right? So I just wanted to set the context clear, right? And the main takeaways from these discussions should be: I want you to be familiar with the frequency ranges which we are using, right? And why do we need to modulate, right? So if you know this clearly, then we'll be able to appreciate whatever we are going to learn in our course. That's why I just wanted to make the context clear, right? So, and anyone else, if you have any doubt or any other insights to add, maybe I think you are bored of this continuous lecturing from my side. So I can, as it is Teachers' Day, I can share you a small story. Is it okay? Do you want to hear a small story? You say yes. Only one person said yes. Okay, it's not quite a good number, right? So others don't want to hear a story. Okay, only three said. Hmm? Yeah, okay, fine. So I'll maybe just to break the monotony. Right, today I thought I will not include any quiz. Right, maybe from next class we'll have quizzes in between. Right, and those will be graded quizzes as it is first session on our course. I will not include. I have not included any quiz. Right, so maybe I'll just tell you a story. Have you heard of Dunning Kruger effect? Okay, maybe one more, another question I'll ask. All of you know Socrates, right? Yeah. So that Socrates has told uh, about perfect wisdom. He told perfect wisdom is knowing when you know nothing. What does that mean? What does that mean? Socrates told perfect wisdom is knowing when you know nothing. Right. So can anyone like unmute and tell what does that mean? Maybe I'll ask Pratiksha. Right. So because she has been volunteering and I need some answer. Right. Pratiksha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe can you just interpret what does that mean? Perfect wisdom is knowing when you know nothing.
Um, according to me, I feel like whatever knowledge we know, it's nothing compared to whatever knowledge is there outside in the world. Like,
Yeah.
our knowledge is very little compared to the vast world. I'm guessing.
Yes. Yes. And yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's exactly what is meant by that. Or in other words, maybe if we know what we don't know, then we have scope to learn more, right?
Yes,
Like,
sir.
yeah. So if we should know what are our limitations or what is that we don't know, so that we can learn. So I'll tell you a typical a story. It's not a story; it's a real life incident. It's about a person who was named MacArthur, right? And before that, one more thing I just want to get clarified. Are you able to follow my English accent? I'm from. Can anyone unmute and tell that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right. Okay, fine. So maybe I'm not from this region. I'm from slightly different. I'm from Kerala, right? If you have any difficulty in following my accent or anything, please feel free to actually uh, communicate. Yeah. So the story is about a person called MacArthur. So he is a notorious thief, right? He's a robber, bank robber. So what he did is somewhere in 1995, he robbed a bank, right? Somewhere in Britain. right? I don't remember the place exactly, right? See, he robbed a bank, so he was not even wearing a mask, and he while robbing, he was actually what looking at the CCTV camera and smiling, right? And he robbed a bank, and right after that, he entered another bank, and he robbed it as well, right? And he aram se he walked back to his home, and he was quite sure that he will not get caught, right? But then police people came, they found the person's footage from the CCTV, and evening itself, actually, they went to his home and arrested him. This person, MacArthur, he was shocked, right? He was 1000% sure that he will not get caught, right? So he couldn't even believe why, how he got caught. He executed it very cleverly, according to him. But even then, he got caught. So he was like disappointed, seriously disappointed, right? So then, what happened is he asked police people, like, I did it so cleverly. Then even then, how could you crack? How could you identify it was me? Then police people were actually what they were laughing. They were, what is that so clever thing you did? So then he was telling, I wore the juice. I was wearing the juice. Then police was puzzled to hear that. How a person can wear a juice? So what he meant to say is he has read somewhere this lemon juice is used in invisible inks, right? So he assumed that if you apply lemon juice on face and on wherever bare part of his body, the CCTV camera won't be able to capture him, right? So he was believing that, and that that's why he was thinking even if he smile at CCTV camera, it won't be able to capture him. That was a misconception, right? So now, some psychologists have studied about this, and they have like some psychologists named Dunning and Kruger, right? And they have named it Dunning-Kruger effect, right? So, can anyone tell me what might have what is the moral from this? What is the moral from this story? Have you heard the story before? Have you heard of the story before? Yeah, okay, fine. So, I wanted to tell something which is related to your actually what uh, studies. So now we have a predominant online mode, right? It's mostly self-learning. Even if you go out of your college, if you join somewhere, you will have to learn so many things on your own, right? So then, get the importance of getting involved in metacognition, right? Have you heard of the term metacognition? Yeah, so someone has written they overestimated their own skill. So it's not only overestimating, some people will underestimate their own skills, right? Some people will overestimate, some people will underestimate. So that is called metacognition or cognitive bias. So metacognition is knowing why I didn't understand something, or knowing why I wrote that answer wrong, why I couldn't solve that problem, why I'm not able to study this. If you can think and identify why you couldn't do that, then the engineering, which is assumed to be one of the actually what toughest streams of education, that also will become easy. So it is proven by research. So I want you people to get engaged in metacognition, which means if you are not able to follow something, you just think why I didn't get that. What is the reason? So if you think that, automatically you will get, okay, this is because of this reason I couldn't study that. So I have to maybe brush up on this, right? Or else if you understand everything, not a problem, right? But if you are not able to follow something, or if you have difficulty in some subject or some concept, right, you think why you didn't understand, then it will help you to actually what study better in a self-learning mode. Always, if you have any doubt, you can ask, right? Even if I am making some mistake, please feel free to what point out, right? I may also make mistake, and I have even seen one more message. I don't know whether Abdul Kalam actually told that. It is easy for us to identify someone else's mistake, but we'll never recognize our own mistake. Is it true? What Abdul Kalam sir told. It is easy for us to recognize someone else's mistake, and it's very hard for us to. It's true, right? Especially that is true when you are a teacher, right? We teachers can identify your mistakes, but we won't actually realize if we make some mistake, right? So if I'm making some mistake, right? Feel free, like you can feel free to tell at my mouth, sir. It's like that, or right. So yeah, so that's about that story. So like key takeaway from the story would be, I want all of you to get engaged in metacognition while you're learning something. If you don't get something, just think why I couldn't learn that. It will definitely help you to crack anything, right? So not only in your engineering, even after that, when you are into some profession, you have to do that, right? So yeah, so now we'll come to the, like maybe in another 5 minutes I'll wind up. So before that, I want you to know what is a typical communication system. Like now we have seen what is a typical communication system. So here I've shown an example of AM and FM radio, and I also wanted you to appreciate we have different frequency ranges, right? And what these frequency ranges are used for, right? So maybe we have, this is in terms of wavelength, as increasing wavelength. So as wavelength is increasing, frequencies decreasing, right? So very low frequencies, that is about 30 hertz and all. Are we using it anywhere, 30 hertz and all? Yes, it is used for actually underwater communication, or communication through, if you have to communicate to a submarine from terrestrial, like ground, we have to use very low frequencies. The reason for this also you'll study in your electromagnetics. There is something called skin depth or skin effect, right? So with there we'll have to use very low frequencies. Then we have radio waves, actually AM and FM ranges we have seen, right? Then we have seen actually GSM range, that is around 1000 megahertz, and 3G it is around 2000 megahertz, and Wi-Fi it is actually 2400 megahertz or 2.4 gigahertz, right? And we have even beyond that actually microwave communications, which is used for satellites and radars and all, right? And we have even above that actually optical range, infrared range, and optical range we are using for optic fiber communication, right? So you should have a slight idea of what are different frequency ranges. That I think you already have now. Now we'll come to a typical communication systems composition, right? So we have some information, right? So that information will be right. So we have some information. That information will be given to a transmitter. Now you don't have to bother about this network and control layers, right? So this diagram I've taken from your textbook, right? So this network and control layer will come into picture when it is a computer communication and all. So I don't know whether you have heard of OSI layers, OSI model of a network. We have 7 layers. That is, they are application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, logic link layer, and physical layer. So that will come only in computer communication. You'll study that later. So you don't have to bother about these 2 network control layers which I have written in a cloud. You forget about that. So if we have information source, we do have a transmitter, right? So, and we have a channel. The channel can be wireless or wired, right? This channel can be wireless or wired. If it is wireless, we have to use an antenna. That is what is happening in AM and FM transmission. If it is wired, we have to use a physical medium, right? So that can be an optic fiber cable or a coaxial cable, which is used for a cable TV transmission, right? Or else it can be a twisted pair cable, which was used for your old telephone communication, landline communication, right? So we have a transmitter. This transmitter does something. So within this transmitter, all this modulation, everything happens. So then we have a channel, and at the receiver, what should happen? The opposite of modulation, that demodulation should happen, right? And then we have information retrieved. So this is a typical communication system, right? And so I have included some terminologies like communication channel, transmitter, receiver, baseband signal, band pass signal. What is modulation, right? What do you mean by a modulated wave? What is a shifting wave, right? What is demodulation? So I'll share this PPT and also this recording with you, right? So you can go through this, right? So I'm not, well, I think all of these definitions you already know, right? So I don't have to dwell into deep. And we'll end today's discussion with a quick glance over the types of modulation, and under different types of modulation, what and all we will learn in this particular semester or under this principles of communication system, right? So and like, yeah, so modulation, we can classify modulation on different basis, right? Different textbook, different depending on their actually what perspective, they might have classified modulation techniques or modulation schemes into many way, right? So but for our purpose, I'll be using actually what this classification: analog modulation and digital modulation. So what do you mean by analog modulation and what do you mean by digital modulation, right? So to keep it simple, if the information source is analog, right, the message signal is analog and you are modulating that, if you are modulating a carrier using an analog wave, it is analog modulation, right? And if your message signal is digital, right, that is ones and zeros, right, and you are modulating a carrier wave using digital signal, that is digital modulation, right? So we will also learn in this course how an analog signal can be converted into digital signal after sampling, quantization, all those aspects also we have to learn, right? Then okay, so analog modulation, we have amplitude modulation and angle modulation, right? Amplitude modulation means amplitude of the carrier will be varied according to the message signal, that is amplitude modulation, right? So under amplitude modulation also we have different types of amplitude modulation, that is there in our first module. So from next session we'll start with amplitude modulation. Then we have angle modulation, right? So amplitude modulation we have to study. In angle modulation we have to study only frequency modulation. Phase modulation, it's not there as such, right? So angle modulation is, if I mention cos of something, right, so that argument cos theta, theta is the argument or angle, right? So that theta is actually what, 2 pi fct plus phi. You might have studied that, right? That theta is 2 pi fct plus phi. So either we can change the frequency, that is actually what frequency modulation, and if we change this phase, that will be phase modulation, right? So we have to study frequency modulation, that is there in second module, right? Then in digital modulation we have digital baseband modulation and digital bandpass modulation, right? So about this I'll discuss a little bit later, right? So digital baseband modulation, some of the digital baseband modulation techniques also we have to study, right? So in this course we have to study about amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and of course actually what effect of noise in these two, amplitude modulation and frequency modulation, effect of noise in these two, right? Then how to convert analog signal into digital signal, we'll study some basics. And apart from that we'll study also digital baseband modulation techniques, namely pulse coded modulation, pulse position modulation, and all those things. And if you have used Arduino before, I think you are very much familiar with pulse width modulation. That is one of actually what digital baseband modulation technique. And this digital bandpass modulation technique you'll study in higher semesters, in 6th semester, right? You have digital communication, there you will study digital bandpass modulation techniques, right? So that's what we have to learn in today's session, right? So what I'll do is, before I wind up, right, we'll just have a quick recap of what we have in today. We have seen what is the need for modulation, and we have seen some examples, right? And maybe we have seen some terminologies related to modulation. We have seen a typical communication system, what it will have, and we have even tried to have a clarity on different range of frequencies which is used for communication, right? So that's all about today's session. Please don't leave, right? And in next session we'll start with amplitude modulation. So it will be a recorded session, right? So I'll be posting recorded videos in Canvas through Edpuzzle, right? So I request everyone to watch that, right? And before I wind up, Anything else you have to, any doubt or any, do you want to know anything else? I think I didn't introduce myself, right? Do you want to know more about me? Like,
Yes, sir.
yes, okay, because you might have seen while walking through the corridor and all, but right. So myself, Anup CV, right? I'm basically from Kerala, right? I did my UG from Government College of Engineering, Kannur in Kerala, and after that, I have been working in embedded system engineering domain, right? Where at that time when I was working, there was only PIC and ARM, all those things, Arduino, all those things were not there, right? So I worked for 2 years, and after that, right, I just tried writing GATE. I got cleared, and I did my MTech from SRM University, Chennai, right? And after MTech, I came into actually what teaching, and I have been working in uh, Trikaripur Engineering College. It is in Kasaragod before coming to St. Joseph. And from 2014 January, I am associated with St. Joseph Engineering College. Right. And currently, I'm heading a teaching learning center of SJEC, and I'm also a part of the Tinkering and Exploration Lab. Right. I was, right, yeah. And that's about my other responsibilities. And in current semester, for me, this current semester is full of actually what? Communication. So from the very basics to higher level communication, I am handling this time. Why? Because for you, I am teaching principles of communication system, right? And for 7 semesters, they have advanced communication uh, lab. In that, they'll be using, they'll be actually what doing experiments on digital bandpass modulation techniques and microwave and antennas and optical fibers and all those things, right? So this entire thing is covered. And for MTech, I'm handling 4G, LTE, and wireless broadband. So from basics till actually what current recent trends in communication, right? I'm handling this time. So right, this semester for me it is full of communication, and of course, my research interest is also communication. Right? Maybe I am thinking of how to use machine learning in different aspects in communication, especially in 5G and 6G and all, right? We do have a tremendous scope, right? So that is my research interest. Anything else you want to know about me? I just badly wanted to get to know everyone, but I don't know in online mode how to do that, right? So anything else you want to know? Yeah, and about my family, I'm married and I have a small kid. She's just 1 year and 5 months old, and her name is Aradhya, right? And I'm staying in St. Joseph Engineering College quarters, just outside the campus. It is in Green Valley, Nirala. Right. That's it. Right. Yeah. And anything else? If anyone want to tell anything, right. If nothing is there, maybe we'll end the session. But if someone can give a remark, if I want before you leave, I want you to tell me what you like. What if you want me to change anything in next online session or live recorded session? If you want me to change anything, right? So please do comment, right? So that I'll try to what avoid that particular thing, right? I know while speaking, I'm using actually what many times. I got used to that. I'll try and change that, right? So please don't like try and sit and count the number of times I say right or I say actually what and what, right? Yeah, again I'm telling right. Apart from that, maybe if you can tell me one nice thing about today's session and one not so good thing, right? You can type it in chat box, not a problem. I won't take it personally and all, right? All of you can, if you can type, that would be really great. I'll stop presenting now. I'll stop presenting now, right? So you can type it in chat box. One nice thing about today's session and one bad experience about today's session? It's just for me to improve, right? I can learn a lot of things from you people as well, right? Nothing.
Sir, your class is super engaging, and I don't think so we'll get bored. So it's fun the way you talk and explain the things. So
Is it okay? Like, and
yeah,
one bad thing which happened today.
uh, I can't think of any.
What bad thing is story in my intro. Right, okay, yeah. So from next session, what we'll do is we'll try and include some quizzes. Last time we had some quiz on quizzes, right? So like that in Kahoot or quizzes, we'll have some quiz, right? And right. So I want all of you to be inquisitive. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Right. Feel free to ask. And right. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
sir.
the session. Right. And have a wonderful weekend. Right. Hope we'll like overcome this pandemic situation soon. And I'm really eager to meet you people like offline. Right. So maybe, and I wanted to you to introduce yourself, but maybe some other way we'll see. Right. So like now we'll stop today's session. Once again, thank you so much for joining. Right. And already the attendance is taken by this Google Chrome extension of Google Meet. Right. So you can leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.